Hey y'all, Conservative Brother Daily here, back with another daily rant. I gotta get better at this photo, making sure it covers the whole screen. But you guys see it covers the whole thumbnail, so that's all that matters. I got you here. So I'm going to be talking about the one common thing that conspiracy theorists and self-help junkies have in common. The one common thing that conspiracy theorists and self-help junkies have in common, and that one thing is not taking action. At a different part of my career, I was more in the corporate side of things, attending conferences for business. But then, of course, a lot of them, for years now, Tony Robbins and the Jim Rohns, they ushered in personal development. It's been slowly kind of leaking into the corporate side of a lot of business conferences. So for years, I did attend a lot of, suit and tie conferences with personal development and, really seeing just sort of the power and emotion it has to sway people. And same thing with conspiracy theorists. And once again, just to be fair, conspiracy theorists was something that was coined by the CIA to pretty much dismiss, discard people who were starting to ask questions about the JFK assassination as early as months after, even afterwards. So uh, I don't really use conspiracy theorists or really self-help junkies as like a smear or name call, but just for simplicity. So kind of we're all on the same page. I don't even know if my okay, there it is. All right, so uh, yeah, so basically, what I want to say is that there's this a troubling, I guess, frustration that I see with conspiracy theorists that I also tend to see, or notice in the self help space. And once again, this isn't a attack or even an observation on people that I know personally. There's plenty of people that I at least observe that you kind of see the same thing, or you can kind of just tell. But when it comes to self help, personal development, there is a place for that. For some people, it is something that they can use to improve their lives, their health, their relationships, their family. But then a lot of times it can be used as this crutch. It can be used if I just read one more book, if I can get that one more hack, then I can take the action to do what I want to do. And these people never end up taking any action. They go to conference, webinar to webinar. They follow person to person, and they never really apply the action they need to improve the life or get the business they want. And it just becomes this sort of never ending bottomless pit, dopamine hit. What can I find? The next thing I need to improve to get a little bit better. And they're never applying those principles, even applying 10% of what they got. They're already on to the next book or the next webinar or next conference, So I see that because now, since I've been a little bit more awoke in the last few years, in this sort of red pill space, and of course it kind of leans into conspiracy theorists and whatnot. And I'm not about to get into any one conspiracy theory, but what I also see is years of people who've been in the conspiracy. Once again, I'm not calling out anybody that I know, anybody that knows who I am, But I'm just saying in general, I'm sure everybody knows who have conspiracy theorists associates where for years they're telling everybody about the Illuminati, about the Central World Bank, about the globalists, and everything like that. And it comes to a point where they know so much, but then at the same time, what are we doing to get toward a solution, or how can we better prepare against the problem? And it sometimes becomes a conspiracy theorists get into this hole where they're all about like defining the problem, showing the problem, expose as many people to the problem, detail as much context about the problem. This is how big it is. We need to tell more people about this because this is happening. And then I kind of go and like, okay, well, what's the solution? What can we do to prepare? Do I need to pick up X amount of canned food per day and water? Do I need to kind of start working my way out of this W-2 job so I'm more independent? I'm not driving into a city every day or living in the city. I can eventually work remotely and have some space out in a homestead in the country and grow chicken. So, what are the steps toward doing that? And most of the time, a lot of conspiracy theorists, they just look at you like a deer in headlights. Well, what we just got to keep telling people. We got to keep informing people about this. But then you kind of look at their life or what they got going on, and it's like, well, they're still at the same place financially. They're nowhere closer to being dependent from this corporate job that's maybe part of the agenda. They're no more closer to having emergency food on the shelf or water on the shelf. They're no more close to being having their money out of a central bank system, or not being dependent on the Fed dollar. They pretty much are. If a disaster were to happen tomorrow, a bank collapse, a you know hurricane disaster, any sort of thing, look at the conspiracy theorists that, yes, they promote what's going on, but then they're also taking little bits of action, and they're in a place where they could be prepared for any to have some prepared solutions for something were to happen. So that's my biggest thing. So just like with self-help junkies, once again, people, I'm not bashing personal development. I think it does a good for a lot of people, but there's once again this pattern of people who attend these conferences, who their life is still a dumpster fire, their family, their relationships, and once again, I'm no perfect person myself. I was on this side where I kind of fell into that spiral where I was just attending, reading books, doing all this stuff. I wasn't applying it. I wasn't improving my life through implementing. I wasn't taking the action. So the same way we see that where we have self-help junkies who just go to the next conference, read the next book, they're not applying anything. They just get the high off of the emotion of improving. You have that same high, that same euphoria within the conspiracy theorist community. Let's just call it out, where they get the high off of the next thing that digs in deeper to the rabbit hole of this sector or this topic or this agenda or this thing. But at the end of the day, you ask them, okay, if they were to cut the power off tomorrow, they have the EMP attack or the grid down scenario. How much food do you have in your cupboard? How many jugs of water do you have? Have you started a garden? Have you worked your way out of corporate America so now you're self-sustaining? Your income is not just based off of your W-2 job you got to drive to in the downtown city. Um, do you have gotten yourself out to a homestead with gardens and chickens? Have you built out a food club, a mutual aid community, if you will, or what they call mutual assistance groups? Have you done or even started or done any sort of little bitty steps toward progressing that infrastructure, to progressing that community? Or is it just, oh, well, no, we just got to tell people more about it, or don't worry about it. We just got to keep telling people. That's where I have the issue with the conspiracy theorists as well as the self-help junkies, where I look at your life as a self-help junkie. You're on your 10th Tony Robbins concert, and you got $100 in your bank account. Family don't talk to you. You ain't got this business. You're still working the same job, and you're still lecturing to me that I need to self-improve, or you need to go to this conference, or this one podcast is going to change your life. And once again, I've been that person. I've been that self-help junkie, and then in my early days, I was a bit of that conspiracy theorist. So I'm not innocent in this, and I'm not calling out anybody I know in person. I'm just saying we can all look and see that in general, that is, I want to say the majority, but there are a lot of people that, once again, the self-help junkies don't practice what they preach. They just love the euphoria of it. Same way with the conspiracy theorists. So they love the euphoria of digging deep, learning the information, shouting from the rooftop, Paul Revere style, you need to learn this and you need to look into this. This is happening. But then you look at their life, okay, well, what in these areas have you prepared so the globalists cut the power off tomorrow? Are you prepared? And it's, once again, most of the time, crickets, deer in headlights, and it's just more of the same. So I kind of say this not to kind of punch down, because once again, like I said, I was this person on both sides for years. So I just say this as a call to action. So whoever you know who's a self-help junkie, maybe they're not a conspiracy theorist, but maybe they need to hear this. Send it to them. People out there, they know everything about the moon landing and the Earth is flat, whatever it is. You need to send them this and say, hey, I'm with you. I may not agree with everything you believe, but what are you doing? These things that you're preaching everybody about, whether you're the self-help junkie or the conspiracy theorist, what what changes have you implemented in your life so we can see as an example what you're doing to prepare for that? Prepare for doomsday or prepare for a better life? What are you doing? And if it's kind of they give you that look, you just show that once again people need to take action. Take action on the information. The personal development, take action to improve your life, your business, implement it. And if anything, if you're still not going to implement it, continue your personal development. Just don't preach about it on social media. If you're not really implementing it, practice what you're preaching. Self improvement silence until you actually take the action. And then with the conspiracy theorists, once again, what are you doing to prepare for these scenarios? Many of them that I believe I'm on the same page with you guys, my conspiracy brothers and sisters. But we gotta level up because you once again telling people this is happening, that's that. Well, what are you doing for it? Well, we just gotta keep informing people, and you ain't got a pot to piss in, let alone a doomsday bunker or anything. But a few cans on the shelf like every other normie that doesn't even follow any of this anyway. So don't look at me and be like, oh, we need to prepare. We got to tell people, and you ain't got nothing prepared. So once again, this is kind of like a tough love message. Share this with somebody who needs to hear it, whether they're a self-help junkie or they're a conspiracy theorist. That we got to take action, y'all. We got to take action. Just don't pummel people with all the information. And, well, what are we going to do about it? I just remember being like, hey, I'm about solutions. Okay. I know at the end of the day, I'm going to learn all this and I'm going to just be paranoid of white people and hate the government. But what action can we take? Or what is being done? How are you preparing physically, mentally, and then also like prep wise for the conspiracy theorists? It's besides just getting everybody riled up about it. So that's all I got. I'm not gonna keep beating the horse to death, but I just thought this message was on my heart and it just had to be told. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Stay awake, not woke, mofos.